who's made an impact already in our neighborhood. We'll talk a little bit about cleanup and beautification, and then we'll have a quick election cycle with those members present as well as open forum. Joining us from law enforcement, we have from CHP officers Roque and Gonzalez and Salcido, right? Salgado.
Say Salgado.
Salgado. I wrote it down as Salcido.
That's my fault. Sorry, dude.
Officer Salgado from LA Sheriff. Yes. All right. Fantastic. So, Bill, do you want to walk us through our crime stats?
Crime stats for the month of August, you guys. As you can see, once again, we are in the red in numerous places. What struck out to me this particular time was if you look right. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, it's working? You hear me? Up is on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on. Hello?
Tap it.
Nope. There you go. Okay, sorry. It works and doesn't work. Oh, lovely equipment. There you go.
Okay. Right.
Okay, what struck out to me is right here. We had 5 cars stolen in our little neighborhood in 1 month. We've had a total so far this year of 21 cars taken, compared to 15 cars taken last year. That's why we're up there. The homicide's going to carry over. You guys all remember that one, I think it was back in April, where the young man shot his dad. Robberies maintained. These robberies, thank goodness, are not within the community. They typically happen on Inglewood Avenue and El Segundo, our border streets. These are typical of, hey, how you doing? I'm looking for this address. Show them a piece of paper, smack them on the head, take their phone, type of thing. Aggravated assaults, most of these are domestics. Husband, wife, brother, sister, whatever, get upset. We have had a rise in a couple of residential burglaries. Nothing significant, but a couple more from this time last year. All other thefts were actually down, which I guess is good. And that's basically it. You guys got any questions on this? Any issues you're concerned about? You good? Okay, moving on. What's
Questions for law enforcement?
Yeah, you guys got any questions for our law enforcement guests? Anybody? Anybody got questions for CHP? Dari, go ahead. Here, have a microphone.
Yeah, I got a question. Are you guys enforcing the registration stickers? Because I see a lot of orange stickers that are prior to September running around in the streets.
So yes, we actually do enforce the traffic restriction citations for those. However, we can't be everywhere.
Yeah, I understand that.
Whenever I see a traffic restriction, I do cite it. However, I can't always be everywhere. I can't know about all the other officers, but that's something that we do actively enforce traffic restriction. If it's in the neighborhood, I mean, you could always notify us and let us know if there's a car in the area with fire registration for however long period of time, and we could definitely come out and check it out and enforce it.
Yeah,
We do a
it's,
parking citation for it, and if the driver doesn't cite the driver as well.
And also something else to be aware of is just because you see an expired sticker doesn't mean the registration is expired.
I understand.
There's a lot of cars in the community, 2019 sticker, we run the registration, it's actually valid. So if it's just expired stickers, we do not enforce stickers that are expired. We enforce registration that's expired. So if we confirm that it's not expired after we run it, we're not going to issue any type of citation.
okay, for the sheriff, the people that come around on street sweeping days, people are parking,
Just shout, Dari.
people are parking right in front of the fire hydrant. And I've never ever seen the parking enforcement write a ticket. And I was wondering, is there something you can do to not do it on Suzuki days?
No, you know, if you have a concern like that, give us a call. And a patrol deputy will be dispatched to that area where they're parked at, right? Parking enforcement is gonna go out and enforce a particular area, they drive around, they cite. Maybe by the time they drove by the car,
No.
marks, if that's the case,
No.
we don't know.
Yeah.
But if there's a car that's parked in front of a fire hydrant, give us a call, and we'll dispatch a patrol vehicle to go out there and cite them and patrol them if necessary.
But why doesn't parking enforcement write the ticket?
You know, it's a good question, and I don't have to follow up on that. Maybe they have something that they're not citing them or parking in front of the hydrant, or they don't see the fire hydrant, I don't know. We have to
Is it
look
possible?
into it.
No, because we have the, little things called on the street.
Little markers?
Yeah. So, before, yeah, they didn't have the markers. But when the house burned,
Dari, if you'll remind me tomorrow, remind me, and I'll call Les Green and jump his ass.
okay.
Les Green's the parking supervisor.
And
Tell him if people aren't doing their job.
I'll talk to Mr. Green as well. Mr. Green and parking enforcement is with the sheriff's department. However, they're assigned to another bureau. They're housed at our sheriff's station, but they have different supervision, right? And they do parking enforcement. I'll have to find out what their, assignment is as far as that goes. And if they are missing that, we'll make sure that they address those issues, okay? But we'll take care of it.
Because I think people think because there's no red strip
Sure,
on the curb,
If there's a fire
then
hydrant.
it's okay.
Right.
Well, go reach
But if there's a way to identify it from the street, if there's a dot there, then
There
there
is.
should be.
a little
But
blue.
we'll find out what the reason is for not enforcing that, and if they're overlooking it, then we'll address it, make sure they are taken care of. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you, Lieutenant Salgado.
Anybody else?
Yeah, well, if you don't mind walking up, we have some people listening online, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. That on.
Okay, so paper plates are temporary plates, correct? So once they get their new plate and stickers, they would replace that, correct? Because today I saw a temporary paper plate on a car expired December 2020.
So again, it's, if we see it, we can enforce it, however, we have to see it. And usually, I mean, we try to patrol, we try to get all as many violations we can, but sometimes we have other issues we gotta, or other incidents we gotta go to. But I can speak, again, speak for myself, when I do see a violation like that, I do enforce it. It's simple, it's just take the temporary plate off, put your assigned plate. Everybody should be able to do that. It's a big ticket, but it just depends on the officer, if he wants to cite that particular citation. I do it, it's something I think everybody should have, because it's good for, investigative purposes, just in case if the car's stolen, we can actually identify the vehicle. So it just depends on the officer, and it depends if we have something on the
Anybody else?
Come on up, please.
I saw the press release about the new bail schedule that came out from LA County Superior Court, I believe it was. With something like, I don't know, auto theft that we've had 21 of this year, what's the protocol going to be now for somebody who's stolen a car? Is it just cite and release?
As I understand it, sorry guys, I understand it's a property crime. And as long as nobody is hurt or injured in the stealing of that car, that's it.
So there has to be physical contact then
There has
between.
to be a reason, or there has to be some sort of suspicion or an occurrence of possible injury to somebody else or some kind of escalation. But just the stealing of the car itself, as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, it's property. It's basically a cite and release.
What if the car's smashed?
Well, if the guy stole it and smashed it, and again, same thing, it depended what he would smash it into. If he smashed it into a tree, it's property. Again, it's just add to the citation.
So the victim's out of luck? I mean, the owner of the car is out of luck?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. And
So this new law is like throwing the victim under the bus?
basically, in a lot of ways, yes. And you guys need to pay very close attention to this kind of stuff. You know, I don't want to be the bad guy, but these are the kind of things that are going on every day in the world. And California, in a lot of ways, is the center of it. And all of your lives, your daily routines are being upset by some of these things. The quality of your life, all of our lives, is changing because of who we have in office and what they're doing. Think about that very, very hard. You know, everything that we have dealt with the past 10 years has been some sort of feel-good, turn your cheek, restorative justice type law that's basically come back and slapped us in the face. These guys are powerless. Their hands are tied. The law says they can no longer do some of this. The street vending issue that we're all kind of doing with people making stuff about that, we're getting new ordinances. These guys are out of it. There will be no law enforcement involved in any kind of, you know, whatever they might do that might be wrong. It's going to be kind of a civil thing. Unless they're blocking the fire hydrant, they're blocking the driveway, or some sort of traffic. These guys won't be
I
involved.
bet they'd be involved if she went out and shot the guy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's a heavy topic that we're not going to fix in a meeting. And I think it's, unfair to ask these gentlemen. I mean, it is what happened. It's what happens. They enforce the law as it's written and promulgated in the state of California, right?
Got
So,
elections
and
coming up. Local, state, and federal. Think who you're voting for. Why do you support this particular person? For what reasons?
yeah. So again, it's a heavy topic. All we can do, and I hate to say that, we can't solve it in this room, but we can go around it and around it, but it's not going to be solved in this room. It's a larger issue, definitely, at the county level, at the state level. But yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, it's a catch and release, depending on the offense. Yeah.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay, we're good. You guys can hang out if you want. You guys can take up.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to these two guys. Real quick, my wife and I and a couple other people complained about the fence at the north end of the walking path, the chain link fence, big old giant hole in it. For whatever reasons, I could not get anybody to address that issue, no matter what reasons I used, whatever. I finally just got on my hands and knees and begged to these two guys. They asked the Caltrans to use their influence. 2 days later, it's fixed. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. About the kids going through the hole and walking up to the freeway, sitting there watching the cars on the freeway.
I've told Bill, when I see that, I've called 911 and say, my kid's going to walk up to the freeway. That's the only way to get them to do things. They won't, but that's the only way to get the attention. Younger kids could, right?
Yes, you guys deserve
Speak of the devil. Thank you.
If anyone has a question that you don't want to ask in front of everyone, I can hang out for a few minutes if you want to ask that question for me.
Okay. And this is Lieutenant Salgado from the LA Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So I'm going to invite up Ara on to give us an update from the 2nd District. Ara is our Deputy for Constituent Engagement from the 2nd District. I'm going to ask you to, I'll move it over to you. So the people online can hear us. If you don't move it or don't look at it too hard, it'll continue working.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Ara An, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm Field Deputy from LA County 2nd District Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office. And I would like to share a couple updates. There were a few motions that were passed, but before I move on, I want to piggyback on what Bill has mentioned a little bit. So the bail schedule coming up in October, I have getting many questions too. And because I work for elected office, I can't talk too much about election, but I want to let you know that, the court judge decided on this, right? So the judge, there's district attorney, Gascon, Sheriff Robert Luna, you guys also voted him in too, right? There are different positions that are coming up in election, and all the departments have different responsibilities. So I think it will be helpful and it will benefit you to look at how the laws work, regulations work, so you can navigate it, because all the departments have different responsibility, right? And as I start this meeting, I was chatting with Bill, and the National Night Out, it feels like it was yesterday, but it was a really successful event, and I want to give a shout out to the Wiseburn Watch leadership and all the partners, law enforcement. I think there was fire department and some, right? Fire department was it? Yeah, there were so many agencies and neighbors that came out. So thank you so much for that event. It was really great. And let's see. So I want to also appreciate Eddie, because he arranged our public works staff to come, Vision Zero team and UWS to come. So thank you so much, Eddie, for coordinating that today. And I would like to talk about two motions that happened recently on September 12th. And I'm gonna look at my phone for now, so please bear with me. So one is regarding a motion to enhance access to Los Angeles County services for residents in unincorporated areas. And I'm gonna read a brief passage here. So for this motion, the County Board of Supervisors unanimously approved the motion authored by Supervisor Holly Mitchell and Catherine Barger, focused on increasing access to county departments, programs, and services for the over 120 unincorporated areas that rely on LA County as a primary source for its municipal services. The motion directs the Chief Executive Office to report back within 90 days with a plan for launching a comprehensive website to access all county services and departments, accompanied by multilingual printed materials and an outreach strategy for unincorporated areas. So that is one. And the second one is regarding street racing in unincorporated area, and thankfully this was passed. And this motion will target street racing. Unfortunately, there are community members and constituents that pass away because of this violent incident, and it has been prevalent in communities like West Rancho Dominguez and what have you. But this motion, it will combine our current tools like speed ticketing, spectator fines, and infrastructure solution with community input. So this is something we're working on, and we want to ensure we increase safety in our community. So there's that. And I also want to talk about a virtual town hall that our office will work on. This is on Monday, October 16th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And there's a bit.ly website for that, but I will send it to the leadership. Eddie, if you can kindly share it to the group, that would be wonderful. So yeah, virtual town hall is coming up on October 16th. And lastly, I want to share a big project that our office has worked on. It's called Operation Pathway Home. So what it is it's like a single-day project where we targeted hotspot on RVs and encampments, and we tackled it in a single day to provide services and house people. We had a huge single-day operation in the month of August. We had one in Lenox, and for the Lenox operation, we were able to house over 50 people. And we had the second one in East Gardena, or what people called West Rancho Dominguez. And for that site, in a single day, we were able to house over 50 people as well. And one thing that was good about East Gardena, it's a huge hotspot for RVs. And that day alone, we were able to permanently remove 48 RVs. Now, RVs, it can be recycled, right, unfortunately, and there are many gang activities, and if you see some RVs being broken, because they might not be paying rent, it can be really dangerous situation going on over there. But then we were able to permanently remove them, And as we shared to the community, Supervisor Mitchell, she started serving a few years ago, and unhoused issues were always there. And we shared to the community, the unhoused issues didn't happen overnight, and the solution will not be either, but we're gonna try to work on different things to combat unhoused issues, and this being one of them. And we, for example, have like job fairs. We recently had food distribution in the city of Hawthorne. Eddie, thank you for promoting that. That one, I'm happy to share that we disseminated around 1,200 food to communities, and that's also one of preventative measures that we use to help families that might be in poverty to kind of help them. So anyways, that was a lot. I'm gonna wrap there. Anyone has any questions for me? Okay.
Ferrara, going once.
I'll be around, so I'll be happy to answer any questions, but again, thank you, Eddie, and I'm gonna pass it to you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ara. All right, so I'm going to invite the folks that we have from Universal Waste Systems and Public Works. You guys don't have a presentation, right? Okay, perfect. Come on up. I prefer if actually EWS goes first, if you don't mind. Chris?
I can just introduce.
Oh, you introduce? Go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. Take any kind of
All right.
question.
Watch your steps, please. With
Thanks.
with all those kids.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's good to be back at the meeting. I know we all saw each other a few months ago, so it's good to be back. My name's Chris Shepard. I'm a principal engineer with our Environmental Programs Division at Public Works. And our main role and responsibility is to oversee the trash collection services and recycling services for all unincorporated communities in Los Angeles County. So we're here tonight to provide you with a bit of an update. We had a couple of really good events that happened recently. The compost and mulch giveaway and shredding events that we held at Victoria Park were highly attended. A lot of people came out, received free compost and mulch, and had their sensitive documents shredded. We also have our annual cleanup events that are going on all through the last few months, and the annual cleanup event is where you can put out your bulky items out at the curb, and the trucks will come by and pick up your items for you. The event for this particular area is coming up on October 7th, so you should have received information about that as well, and so we're looking forward to that. We're here tonight again to talk about any service issues that you may be having, any issues you may be having with collection in your neighborhood, missed pickups, any kind of issues with the carts or cans or anything else that's going on. We have UWS here, Michelle from UWS and Catherine are here. Both were here at the last meeting and to help answer questions. And again, our role at Public Works, we're here to make sure that you are getting the services that are required by the contract. And so if you're ever having any troubles or issues with their services, we ask you to reach out to the waste hauler, but if they're not resolving the issues, then you can always call us at Public Works 888-CLEAN-LA. Email our trash email. We will coordinate with the waste hauler to resolve whatever issues you may be having with your service. So happy to do that and happy to stick around here and answer any questions that anyone has. So Michelle, if you wanted to say anything, and then we'll just take the Q&A.
I'm going to pass on this just because out of respect, I'm getting over a cold, so I'm not going to speak into that. But good evening, everybody. It's good to see you guys. I recognize a lot of faces from last time. Some of the items that were brought up to me earlier that we are aware of, and I'm going to take back again tomorrow when we have our meeting, are carts being dumped into the trucks when they're being, emptied. The other thing is just the carts are breaking easier than they normally do, and unfortunately, that's something that's coming from where they're being made, and this is what we're getting right now. We're trying to see what we can do to help that. I know wheels have been an issue, and that was from the beginning, just the quick rollout of everything we had to do, not being snapped into place. And the other item was consistency of carts not being placed back where they should after they're being dumped. So that's an issue that I will definitely bring up with our team tomorrow. And I was speaking with him that we're gonna have the route manager. He's gonna give me some streets, because he said it's not every street, but I want to make sure that the route supervisor can follow that driver. It could be we just need to offer more training to that driver. Is he in a hurry? What's the issue that's causing that? So just to let you guys know that I've been informed of that, I'm going to take it back, and we'll get back to LA County and, get an email out to you guys with anything. Any other questions you guys have?
Derek, come up, just because I think we have a number of people online. If you don't mind coming up to the mic.
You already brought up about the issue with not returning the carts to the curb. I don't have a problem with the green waste or the blue waste.
It's
The
the black.
trash guy is a lazy, I'm not gonna say the rest.
No, 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 no.
He drops the cans from about this level. Not this week, week before, it bounced into my neighbor's car
Okay,
that's in front of my house. You know, totally unacceptable. And he's been doing this from the very beginning.
okay. What street do you live on?
137th Place.
137th Place.
And I'm sure it's on every other street, because it's, you know, if you look down, you see all the trash cans.
Right.
Like, if the curb's there, trash cans sometimes are out here, they're on the street side of the parked cars.
Okay,
And we have very narrow streets. So if you got a trash can on south side and the north side, you're just looking for an accident.
right. Absolutely. And I understand that. And like I said, we'll get that back to our team. And I think definitely it's driver training we need to provide and follow that driver and see what's going on. You know, you're specifying just one cart color, so that helps a lot that I can take back.
And I don't think it's the manufacturer. I think it's the rough handling of the
I
carts.
think it's a
Because sometimes when
combination
they squeeze it and there's not a lot of trash, it's like,
Yeah,
you know, from being this big to this big,
right.
and
They are working on the grippers because of the fact that carts are going into the truck when they're dumping it. So I know that's being looked at on all of our vehicles right now, trying to tighten those so that doesn't happen. So we are aware of all of these situations that are happening, and we are trying to get them, you know, resolved. And like I said, I'll just keep the county update. Anytime you have questions, you guys can email us anytime, or email the county. We're in contact almost daily with them. So any issues, please feel free to reach out. If we don't know about them, we can't correct them. And that's, you know, important. I know it's important to you guys, and you shouldn't have to call about your trash, but, you know, sometimes you have to. But please let us know. Even if it's something minor, we want to know about it so we can get it fixed.
now is there any truth that if your guy or somebody steals a trash can, that the resident has to pay for a new trash can?
That is yes. But if you file a police report, then you don't have to pay the fee for it.
That is totally ridiculous.
So let me just clarify. So in the contract, so if a cart goes missing or is stolen, we do ask you to call the sheriff, file a police report for it. You don't have to pay for a new cart, okay? The reason we ask to file a police report is just to make sure that there's a record, a documentation that the cart went missing, and that people aren't just requesting extra carts when their carts haven't gone missing, which has happened in the past quite a bit. So there's no extra charge for a missing or stolen cart. If you were to damage the cart yourself, say run over it with your own car, or smash the lid somehow because you dropped something on it, you would be responsible for paying to replace that cart or fix that cart. But if the cart is damaged by the truck, or falls in the truck, or just plain disappears, then you're able to get it.
Well, that's what the person reported, that it fell in the truck, and they were still told, you have to pay.
Not if it falls in the trash.
My understanding of that specific instance, if I'm thinking of the same one where the video was shared, is that no charge was required for the additional cart. An additional cart was provided. There was an account-related billing issue in that case that had to be resolved before a new cart could be provided. So there's a little bit more to that particular story. But a new cart was provided and had no charge. Is my understanding.
So let me restate the policy for those listening online is that there is no charge for replacement of the cart. If it has been stolen, they are asking for a copy of the police report to prevent abuse of the policy for cart replacement.
And not even a copy, just the number.
Just a number of the report to cite to prevent abuse of the policy. And then obviously any self-damage to the cart, caused by the resident is liable for it, but replacement thrown in the cart, thrown in the truck, or damaged by the truck is a non-chargeable cart replacement. Okay.
So if it gets dumped into the garbage truck, how does a person know it wasn't stolen?
Drivers are supposed to report it when they know they go into the truck,
Not what
when
I'm
it's
hearing.
dumped.
But-
But sometimes, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, it's tough to cherry pick, right? But we don't know if we hear that sort of the general complaints from the community, and I had none until your bad luck. Yesterday, they took my green truck and they drove off with it, right? So I called, and they said, yes, the driver reported it, right? Which is good. I don't know how I would have known, right? I don't think you guys would have reached out and said, hey, customer, we took your cart. The driver told us we'll get you a new one. I don't know that you guys are there yet. I would love to think that you guys get to that point. But in this case, I called and said, hey, at 8:57 a.m., the driver went by. I didn't see the truck go in, but I saw the truck go by, and then the cart's not there. I missed the part of the video where it actually went in the truck, but it was there, and it's not. So they said, yes, the driver reported it, which is good. I just don't believe that if I hadn't called that that would notice or proactive gotten to me maybe within a couple weeks.
Yeah, usually what happens
Yeah.
when the driver calls in and reports the cart went into the truck, they create a work order at that moment to get a replacement cart out there. That's the protocol that they're supposed to take. As far as contacting you, I know they strive to do that. Sometimes it falls short of that, but they are working on trying to get to everybody, when it does happen.
So we have, I'm just conscious of time. I know Bill has an issue with the service.
Well, I just want to add something to what we're talking about here too. If any of you guys find yourself in that situation where one of your canes has actually been taken or is missing for whatever reason, do your theft report online. Sign the time, there's no deputy sheriff anywhere who's gonna come to your house for missing trash. It's ain't gonna happen. Do it online.
Yeah, I was worried
It's
if
very
the
easy.
a safety officer or like a.
No, you can do
You
it
can go
over
to
the phone,
LASD,
yeah.
or put the copy, it's just, file a complaint, so we drop down form. It's really easy. It'll generate a number and
So let me restate for Bill, what Bill just stated is that for filing a police report, you can go to LA Sheriff Department's website, lasd.org, and then file a report without having to go to a station to generate that number. Uma.
How do they know which trash can they put in the truck?
They'll know because they'll be right in front of the address, so they report where they picked up the carts, because they're typically right in front
Then
of,
they
yeah.
come to know, I put the.
Yes, yeah.
So when they take the trash the trash can, and then they drop it down, like they did mine on the blue one, and they cracked the top. I mean, they really cracked the top. So if I call to get it replaced, do I have to pay more?
No, if you write down on the driver, yeah.
So when the truck, they'll restate it, it'll be online. When the truck damages a trash can, users, the customer is not charged for a replacement trash can, probably subject to availability of trash cans.
Right, you would not be charged for that.
Michelle, real quick, in the case of a cracked lid, do you send somebody out to replace just the lid? Do you replace the whole cart? How does that work?
Typically, they replace the whole cart. Yeah.
I found my can on the curb and the lid was cracked. I called, this is a couple months back, and it took, they said leave it out on the curb on trash day between 6 and 6, and if it doesn't get picked up that time, it takes a few cycles, and there was a delay, shortage of cans. And so it took about 3 weeks, and I got my replacement can. Actually, it happened to be home, and the guy was coming from the big truck and switched it out, and it was great, no problems. I was having some issues with, and Chris had called last week, I'm Kim, and Chris had called last week, pick up about 5:30 in the morning, a couple weeks in a row, and it happened when we first started about a year ago, and I talked to you, it calmed down, and then slowly, started happening again, and so took a few weeks, but it's been about, 6:15, because I'm on 130th, so, we're one of the first, the people on 129th, I'm like, it must be like 5:20, if I'm 5:30, I felt bad. So I emailed and we made calls and, you know, so we'll, fingers crossed it'll continue.
I'll let
you
them
know.
know again that it
Yeah.
happened, and it's because that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and so it's been a couple weeks now, and I'm up already, but it's like, oh, 6:15, okay, I can handle that, you know. I mean, the old provider was 7, which was fine. So then I asked Chris, like, how could we compromise? And, you know, at the next, we're gonna renegotiation, maybe 6:30. I mean, we're all residential, you know, there's no kids going to school at 6:30, you know. I don't know what all the rules are that they look at, you know, the requirements for pickups and that kind of thing, but it's just people, you know, there's no businesses except for on Inglewood Avenue, so.
Okay, I will bring it up again, because they do have weekly safety meetings, and they go over all these things, so when I go back tomorrow and jot everything down, they will, you know, talk about this Friday morning and all their safety meetings, so, yeah. No, thank you.
6:15, lot better than 5:30.
Last item before we switch topics, and I think Bill lives across the street from where it happens. We've had 2 or 3 truck breakdowns that leak fluid onto La Cienega Boulevard. 2 or 3? 3? 3 times.
Every Monday for 3 weeks.
Really?
It's just unfortunate, and almost at the same intersection too. It's
First it was around the corner for me, then it was 136th Street, then it was over, the truck was parked over on our walking path side. And there was my dog over in the driveway.
Do you know if they've been out there to clean that?
There was very little on that third one, and when I walked by with my dog, I didn't really see it. So I
Okay.
assumed somebody did.
Okay.
But it also brings up another point. Our neighborhood is very narrow streets,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody who works, in my mind, is entitled to a break. No problem. In 30 years of living here, all of our trash is always taking a break on La Cienega. Park your truck on La Cienega,
Okay.
but they park on the side of the parking. You guys park on the opposite side and block the street.
Okay.
So people coming basically southbound La Cienega, if a car's coming northbound, they have to stop.
Because
Let
we're,
the car go by and go around your truck.
oh, okay.
I mentioned to one of your drivers, I said, dude, there's no parking on that side. He's looking at me like I was like some kind of nut, throw his hands up. He said, when the truck happens, you go up, splash, you go on, walk on the street.
I'll make sure that doesn't happen. We'll get that corrected as
We
well.
can, they can park on the east side all they want.
Right.
That's where people park, you know?
Right. Nope, I will pass it along. Any other questions?
Very well.
Thank
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, Catherine. All right, so I'm going to invite our partners at Vision Zero to come up and to explain a little bit what Vision Zero is. We have seen these signs on our sidewalk. It's that and so much more. So let me.
Thank you, Eddie.
I'll drive for you.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Okay.
All right, perfect, thank you.
That's fine. Thank you. So thank you everybody for having us here tonight. My name is Julio Perez, and I'm a civil engineering assistant with LA County Public Works, and I'm here to talk to you about the Vision Zero Traffic Safety Initiative. I'm joined here by my colleague, Christian Calzada, who'll talk to you about the Slow Streets program. So again, thank you again for coming tonight. We want to thank Eddie and the community and the Wiseburn Community Watch for joining us, for inviting us. Can you go to the next slide, please? So I'm not going to go super in depth about public works because you already had EPD talk here and everything, but just a brief overview about public works. So our mission is to plan, design, and build and maintain modern infrastructure that uplifts Los Angeles communities. And there's nearly 300 miles of roadway in the unincorporated communities that we maintain. Can you go to the next slide? So what is Vision Zero? To be more specific, I work for the county's Vision Zero initiative. If you aren't aware, Vision Zero is a county-wide initiative to eliminate traffic fatalities. It's a multidisciplinary approach to enhancing traffic safety, and it brings together engineers, planners, law enforcement, public health professionals in our communities. The Vision Zero concept is centered around recognizing that everyone is human and people make mistakes. So we need to engineer roadways to put our systems in place so that, not so much to prevent collisions, but to minimize the impact of those collisions and to prevent fatalities. So the board adopted the county's Vision Zero Action Plan in August 2020, and that plan identifies a number of strategies to enhance traffic safety. As a part of the development of the plan, we conducted an analysis of fatal and severe collisions that took and where had they happened the most. And as some of you may know, certain streets in Los Angeles County experience greater number of fatal and severe injuries than other parts of the county. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So this collision concentrated corridor. So any half a mile roadway segment where 3 or more fatal or severe injury collisions occurred within 5 years is considered a CCC or collision concentration corridor. On the screen is a map of El Segundo Boulevard that is identified as a CCC. Well, El Segundo is not part of the top 20 CCC, so we ranked them. We're focusing right now on the top 20. We are aware that that's a problem. Can you go to the next slide? So this is a chart of the Wiseburn community, and it shows the fatalities and severe injuries in the general unincorporated LA County and the Wiseburn community. So we see that there hasn't been any fatalities in the Wiseburn community in the last 4 years, which is good news, but please be assured that we are cognizant that there might be problems. Feel free to let us know during the Q&A, any issues. We want to know your concerns. Can you go to the next slide? So we just wanted to give you an idea of some of the typical traffic safety enhancements that we have. So we use high visibility crosswalks, which are thick white lines that are very visible to approaching traffic. The goal of the high visibility crosswalk is to make it easier for drivers to be aware of pedestrians crossing the locations. We have curb extensions that help shorten the crossing distance for pedestrians and increases the visibility of drivers and pedestrians. And we also use what we call LPIs, or leading pedestrian intervals. Essentially what it does is it gives pedestrians several seconds head start before the signal turns green. This gives pedestrians a head start to cross the roadway so they will be more visible. So now I'm going to pass it to my colleague Christian to talk about the Slow Streets program.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, Julio. So a little bit, next slide. A little background of the Slow Streets program. Actually, before we get into it, Eddie happens to be one of our sponsors. Happens to be one of our sponsors for the program.
So that, because it's finicky about the movement. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Good?
Good? All right, awesome. All right, perfect. All right, so.
I know you want to, just stay away from that. Yeah.
All right, so Eddie happens to be one of our sponsors for the Slow Streets program. Thank you very much for putting it together for Wiseburn. A little background about the Slow Streets program. It was a response to COVID-19. Due to there being emptier roads, you saw a lot less traffic and you saw a lot more speeding. What the Slow Streets program intended, what it was intended for was pedestrian safety, and it's pedestrian focused. Although the change now is more or less to remind drivers to slow down, it's more or less a tool for traffic calming. Next slide. All right, as far as the Slow Streets signs, we have signs across 25 unincorporated communities. Here are the current 25 communities in which we do have signs. The most recent installations happen to have taken place in Wiseburn as well as Delaire. Next slide. And here we have some of the locations in Wiseburn. As far as the next steps for those that are interested in the program, I'll get into how to become a network sponsor. Next slide. All right, so how to become a sponsor? You're able to apply online. You're welcome to call our Vision Zero hotline. Staff will be able to review and check your application for completeness. There are some considerations that we do take prior to implementing the sign, which will be on the next slide shortly, but essentially you're welcome to apply online. If you wish to talk to me afterwards, I'll be happy to take down your information and we'll be able to go from there. All right, as far as the considerations that we do make, we tend to focus on residential streets. There are, we recognize that there are larger networks that are meant to larger streets that are meant to carry traffic. We call those local collectors, which we'll take a look at on a case-by-case basis, but our focus is on residential streets. We do have a little bit of a background as to why we focus on residential streets, which is our primary focus. But as you can see, there are a list of different things that we do consider, which happen to be on screen. Next slide. All right, so for those that are interested in maintaining signs, I know you may have seen some on 135th, Ocean Gate. As far as maintaining the signs, you're welcome to do it in a number of 4 ways. For those that wish to take a picture or who are interested, you could do it by phone, by calling either the 2 numbers on screen. You could do it online. You're also welcome to email us too as well to make sure that those signs get replaced. And one of the bigger ones that bigger ways that we kind of been advocating for is the Public Works app, or the Works app, which I'll get into in the next slide, and I'll also describe a little bit more of what you could do with that app. All right, so the LA County Public Works app, it's available in both Apple and Android devices. Essentially what you could do there is you could report graffiti, illegal dumping, and much more. In addition, you're also welcome to report the slow down signs that happen to get knocked down. If you ever need like a step-by-step guide or a little assistance with that, down the line, you're welcome to call us. There you go. You're welcome to call us, and we'll do our best to, maybe walk you through it. You could also email us too. I have a guide set up to where if you do need assistance with reporting the signs, we could definitely send that over if you need assistance. If we do have time for questions, feel free to let us know if you have anything about Vision Zero, Public Works, or about, say, the slow streets.
Yeah, I got a question. I'm not sure, are you the head guy? The high visibility crosswalks, I mean, for about 3 weeks there, they painted the crosswalks down here at 135th and Douglas, and the cones have been, it's like they forgot to pick up the cones. So,
Sorry about that. You mean the traffic cones?
yeah, it's still down to 1 lane. It's been about 3 weeks. I don't know if anybody else has gone by there. Yeah, even today. It's like they just forgot to pick up the cones. They did the paint job, and they left, and the cones are there, and I'm surprised pedestrians haven't just simply moved them.
Yeah, we can do something about that. I'll take it back, and we'll get the proper people, out here.
Okay, thanks.
Can you say again what intersection?
It's Douglas and 135th. It T-bones into Douglas here at 135th, and they did some painting on the high visibility crosswalks, and they left the cones.
Yeah, I just showed up here. I have one of these ridiculous signs in front of my house.
Oh.
I'll tell you what, I am pissed off at that thing. I have no, my street sweeping, I lose all my street sweeping. I get about 25% of my property gets street sweeping. And it's out about 3 feet into the street. It's ridiculous. I don't understand how you guys can do that or get away with that, having things in the middle of the street. We have a sign on Shoe, a stop sign, posted both ways. People run that stuff all the time. You think that zero vision sign is going to make a difference? As far as I'm concerned, the first day I saw that thing, I'm taking my eyes off the road, looking at that, and not looking in front of me.
Right.
And I tell you what, I am so disappointed in that sign. It almost looks like a pedo sign to me. I don't want that thing out from my house where I can't get street sweeping or anything else. People love that sign? Good. Take it away from my area and put it in front of their house. I have dips right in front of my house. There's no reason to have that when you have dips. And if it's important and it's going to save everybody's life, then you put stop signs and a 4-way stop there. That is just a nuisance.
Yeah, thank you for giving us your concern. Definitely. If you want to go ahead and give me your contact information after, I'll definitely look into. Okay. Yeah. So, if it is an issue with street sweeping, that's something we could definitely look into as far as removal. But for the most part, in the interest of traffic safety, we plan to keep these signs. However, if there is an issue, if you have an individual concern that does pertain to street sweeping, we'll be more than happy to address it, as well as perhaps look into sign removal for where that street.
Are you gonna put in like guys coming over and like sweeping everything off my area? I wanna know how it's gonna work. Like, I expect that to be done. I'm paying, what, $7,500 a year and getting almost nothing for it. And if I'm paying that kind of property tax, I expect not to be there, me get that clean.
So
I don't believe that virtue signaling stuff, that is zero vision. And I want to know your information on how you guys say that and not stop signs will fix things. Our neighborhood for what, 10 years, 8 to 10 years, has been asking for ways to slow down traffic, like traffic speed bumps. No, you can't do it. How about signs? Well, no, not in your area, but that is the magic piece. Give me a break.
All right, so I'll be able to take your information afterwards, to of course address your concern, and we'll be able to follow up with you and also get you, look into getting you connected as far as the street sweeping concern that you're having. I'll go and provide you with my contact information afterwards.
I'm gonna take a picture of your sign there.
Yeah.
I've got other things to do. This is
Dave,
just
I
pissed
can
me
send
off.
you his contact info.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll take that.
Yeah, let me get you one of these.
Here, let's take a picture of this. This is absolutely ridiculous in my, if you want that stuff, spam everybody's corner or don't spam mine. We've had some people tagging, and I almost prefer the tagging over that being in the middle of the street. So I tell you what, this is not cool.
All right, thank you for sharing your concern. Yes, sir.
Dave raises a very good point. You guys have any statistical data on the sign actually do anything? And the reason why I ask is, I kind of feel like I live in the real world. And every day people run stop signs and speed. I just, I don't see how a sign like that really does anything. Maybe I'm wrong. You have some data on that.
Yeah, so as far as data that's being gathered for that program, we also want to bring up that these are temporary signs. So until at least we have a more permanent solution, we will at least continue to have these signs out. But as far as anything to back it, this was a response to COVID-19 due to, emptier roadways as well as speeding. So we did that in a way to respond to that concern. At least I understand that it may be one issue after another. When it comes to implementation, it's something that we are piloting. But we hope to, if there is a better solution to, which we're in the work of developing, which is a more permanent solution. As soon as there's more details on that, we'll be happy to share it. But for now,
If you're gonna spend money and do things, it seems to me you wanna spend money where it actually might help. Like, we'll give our sheriffs more money, increase the patrols, and we're done nothing. Give the highway patrol boost, go more tight safety officers, actually, do some speed control, things that actually work, if people get for what they do. A little silent, I don't know.
Different department. Different department.
That's all.
All right, step up.
Yeah. So what the gentleman mentioned, it made me think. I know Eddie, like you, Maria, some people are having conversation with the different traffic division, right? Maybe we can have a meeting together on the side and discuss different ways.
No, I think.
What do you think?
I think it's I think Dave needs to bring up the concern. Yeah, I mean, Christian's information is public. The program's information is public. I think it's an individual concern.
Oh, for him, for sure.
Yeah.
But like overall infrastructure concern. That's what I meant. Because you and Maria had a conversation.
We're always looking for how do we make our community safer.
Yeah.
We're always looking for a master plan, right? I'd love to do some urban planning that talks about our little half square mile of the world, right? In the context of greater LA County. If we can start a project that addresses, that unifies Public Works, you know, regional planning, all the departments to collaborate to figure out what's the right, how do we stop using Ocean Gate as, you know, to disenfranchise our community for commuters that, you know, could run over our kids, right? For downshoot, Ocean Gate, you know, listen.
So I think we can start with Public Works because regional planning is a whole nother thing. I remember as I started working with you guys, we created like a spreadsheet and went down the list, right? So maybe we can pick up and do something similar. But I appreciate you guys for presenting.
Absolutely.
Christian, I know the gentleman was passionate, but you handled really well, so thank you for that. I'm going to pass it to you guys.
It's unfortunate, I do apologize for that. You know, one thing is to provide feedback. Unfortunately, our law enforcement officers weren't here because that was inappropriate. So my apologies. Yeah, that was inappropriate. So my apologies for that. But we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the work that you do. Those of you that have signs in front of your houses that may mind them, the information has always been public. It's gone out in email. They have a public illicit number. They're perfectly willing to talk about why, the reasoning behind why the signs are placed where they're placed. They're pretty good at replacing them when they've been knocked over until we search for a more permanent solution. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We have, it's 8 o'clock. I think they left. I think they left as soon as their presentation was done. Let me bring up the last item on the topic before we open it up for to open forum. Thanks, Eddie, for joining that. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining. All right. Back to. So, cleanup and beautification. I don't know if you guys have noticed that Del Air had recently had a tree planting event. That's something that we'd like to explore with the community. We're definitely lacking shade. Public Works has a tree program. They have identified, for those of you that are arborists and, you know, in your spare time, you can debate the 15 or 20 selections of non-invasive tree roots that they're suggesting. But nonetheless, I think it's something that we should look at on how do we provide more shade without ruining our sewers and plumbing systems that's sponsored by the county. And we can coordinate that with Public Works. They're perfectly willing to do that as a program level. The other one was choosing a cleanup day. October 7th is our bulk pickup day. I think we need a community cleanup day, and we're going to get in contact to see if we can get some from the Da Vinci to help us with some of their community service hours. I don't know if we can pull it off by October 7th, but we'll think of a date that we can get some coordinated help, publish it to the community, maybe get Home Depot to sponsor some materials to pick up. And then UWS to also, you know, pick up the results of that cleanup. Our bulk pickup date, October 7th. It's what they didn't mention. It's unlimited items. Our contract says that we have unlimited items bulk pickup. That does not include hazardous waste. So take a look at what they'll pick up: furniture and things like that, but nothing that contains hazardous waste. Last but not least. Your board, who's here present, and Harley Hoff is going to, we've talked her into rejoining the board with an emeritus position. So we are up for re-election for a 2-year cycle. Until we find, we're happy to pass the baton for those of you that want to participate more actively. Even if you're not a board member, we're looking for participation. Lots of community building, lots of work, talking to the county departments, getting ourselves noticed. Our National Night Out was the only National Night Out that I'm aware of that had the 2nd District Supervisor present and the Undersheriff of Los Angeles County. All right, Los Angeles County is 10 million people. Huh?
Undersheriff, yes.
Yes, with a combination, Bill. Come on, give me one, Bill. Both of them. How many of them had both of them? We're the only ones that had both of them present in the same event. Missed each other by about 2 minutes. But we need help. We're happy to serve. We're going to take a quick show of hands. We're going to do this electronically if we got more candidates. But we're going to do a show of hands to allow us to serve for the 2023-2025 cycle, and to add Harley Hoff to our board. So all those in favor, please, aye. Okay. Those against? Noted. Motion passes. It's a fixed election. I knew you were going to, either you or Bill were going to say, something about it. Yeah, so open forum. Any questions that don't pertain to any of the topics that we're talking about tonight, you're welcome to bring them up. We'll go on for another 5-7 minutes. Uma. Kim thinks there might be coyote poop and not necessarily dog poop. There have been reports of coyotes down on Shoup and on 129, so they're slowly getting more comfortable in the neighborhood. It could very well be. It could very well be. I'll have the kids walk out, my kids walk out with little bags, and we'll go on a neighborhood poop pickup and see if we can get others to do the same.
Are we gonna have another meeting before?
November 15th, thank you for bringing that up. November 15th, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. It's normally the third Wednesday of every other month, except for December. November 15th is our next meeting. Yeah. Not once a month, it's every other month. Yeah. Chris.
All right, hey, we stepped out for just a minute, but I recall seeing on the agenda there was a cleanup event mentioned, and I did just want to throw out there that as part of the services we offer through our waste hauling contract, we provide support to community cleanup events. So if you need a dumpster at the event, or you need extra trash bags, or gloves, or brakes, or equipment, things like that, we can help coordinate. It would support our partners at UWS, and we need a contact info and the date of the event. We can help coordinate that kind of additional support for any event.
Okay. All right. How much notice do you guys need?
A week or two would be good.
Okay. All right. So maybe October 7th is a possibility.
Hi, Chris. Another question about changing channels on the street sweeping, and I think you have oversight over that contract.
Crew does street sweeping contracts, so
Okay.
I can relate the
Oh, okay. One is I've noticed, and I've talked to others, other blocks. They go by really fast. I mean, so fast. I don't know how they're picking anything up. And when you see the shape of the streets, you can tell they're not getting much. I'm not sure what the requirements are to how fast or slow they're supposed to go, but they're going really fast. I mean, just like blink and they're gone, okay? And then La Cienega is just not touched. And it's just gross. You know, there's dirt and mud and on both sides of the street, and I just don't know what days of the week. I think it's 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursdays down at my end for one side of the street. Is there any way you can ask somebody to do La Cienega?
I could just take some notes from you on the specific stretch of La Cienega, and then the other streets you mentioned, 1 or 2 examples, and I'll relay those through, and we'll have them look into with the contractor what's going on there, and if there's any particular reason why they're not getting La Cienega monitored.
We also have, I think, a 2 or 3 week old public works ticket for weed abatement on La Cienega, south of the walking path, before it turns into a jungle.
We can follow up on that as well.
I know. Yeah, I thought of you. Prakash. There are no small comments. Yes.
Somebody was saying over here the cones left in the Douglas and 135th corner.
Mm-hmm.
But the painted area, by the way, that area, does it not fall in the El Segundo city?
Douglas and Utah.
That's El
It's El Segundo. Yeah, Douglas in Utah is El Segundo. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Douglas and 135th.
Douglas and 135th, he was
Or
talking
is
about.
that Utah when you cross the aviation?
When you cross aviation, it's Utah. Yeah. Right.
What I could do with your request, I was gonna ask you actually after to,
Oh, yeah, sure.
exactly where it's at, and, we could check if it's a county or superior station, or, the latter, like, we had mentioned.
El Segundo. Yeah, our high school is actually in El Segundo. Yeah.
So I could do that for you.
Yes. The native, for full disclosure, I am on the Citizens Oversight Committee for Measure EE. So there's a meeting on that tomorrow. My understanding is that they are funding the first series of bonds for that. I don't think any work will start until next summer. There's a whole bunch of permitting stuff that needs to happen before. Turning into fields. So I've been bothering them. I went to the school board to ask them, can we put a sign with a depiction, even if it's not approved, some painting that says, summer of 2025, something that says, that doesn't commit you to a particular date, but that shows that something's going to happen. It's going to be fields. I don't think it's been decided in terms of, there's a whole bunch of questions in terms of lighting for the people that live across the street from it, community access hours, right, for fields, open scheduling of fields so that, can the community walk through there without inviting undesirables, to trash the place. So there's a number of questions about equitable access to that facility. But it's going to be a track, at least a baseball field, a regulation soccer field, and I may be using, apologies to the sports, I may be using the wrong terms, but there's a regulation type soccer field and at least one baseball field that's going to go in there. It's going to be multi-use for the entire area, and I think some parking as well. Yeah.
Is that meeting tomorrow night, is that open to the public?
It is not, but they publish notes on that because it's advisory. No decisions get made at that meeting. It's just a check mark, and it's supposed to be my job to bring it out. And there's somebody from Hollyglen, somebody from Del Air, a couple of people from Wiseburn on the Citizens Oversight Committee. So it's not open, but they publish notes. And I don't know if it's recorded. I don't know if I can find out if it's recorded. I don't remember it being recorded. There.
Do you know anything about what are the updates on the now vacant lot on my corner?
13727 you mean 13727 Inglewood Avenue? I don't have any updates. I don't think you have anything know about that. I think Ara is going to check with regional planning on it. I'll call the company. I'll call the owners. I mean, I'll call the owners to find out more information about what they have planned. Because I don't know what the name of the assembly bill is, but whatever assembly bill allows for that to happen, they're within the bounds of the law, right? So they're going to try and exploit it as much as they can. I'm sure that I can be certain of, if anything else, in terms of building height, in terms of the usage of that and the density of that. My understanding is that it's not low income housing. It's market rate housing with a 10 or 12% allocation, which, in a 60 unit building is 6 or 7 units for low income housing, which I don't know how that gets assigned in terms of the housing needs. To replace the existing apartment building, probably with a denser and taller footprint.
6 stories, 117 apartments, 2 retail.
The description.
6 parking spots.
How many bicycles?
4 bicycle parking spots.
How many? 134. So the description in EPIC, the Department of Regional Planning's plan site, it doesn't disclose the plans, just a narrative, a description of the site, says 6 stories, 100 units, 6 parking spots and 114 bicycle spots with, I think, 1,800 square feet of commercial on the bottom. So we don't know more than that at this point, other than, we just read you a description of what it says on Department of Regional Planning. But, I mean, by the same token, I think that I don't know that we'll be able to fight it, if that's how much we'll be able to fight it, unless somebody takes a pro bono case and, decides to sue the county or something to try and stop it. There's an assembly bill that enables it to happen, right? So I just want to be realistic with how much power we have to block something, like that. But it also, we'll fight the fight with whatever means possible. But it also should make us think that things like that happen along the commercial corridor are ripe for it to happen to other, especially with the allowance for density that assembly bill provides, is ripe for happening along that Inglewood commercial corridor. So it should make us think about parking for sure, because the parking dispensation that construction allows is, hey, people live close to Metrolink and to a bus system. We only need to provide for bikes, right? And we can get away with 6 parking spots for the commercial corridor and 100 bicycle spots. Nobody in Los Angeles lives like that today, right? I don't know if by the time the Olympics come that will turn into that city, but that building's not going to do it, right? So we also need to think about, I know it's been controversial to think about permit parking, but I think it's a serious consideration that needs to happen at a Wiseburn area level if that building is the first test building. I think it's a test building. I think that they're testing the waters to see how far they can take that assembly bill, which is within the bounds of the law, right, to happen. So something to think about.
So common sense isn't a factor, anything anymore?
You're talking about above my pay grade, Derry, in terms of urban planning, for sure.
I can check with regional planning and, see what information we can get at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you in the sense that there should be environmental impact study. Just hearing the numbers sounds ridiculous, right? So I'll definitely check and I'll try to share a report back to you.
That'd be great. And that's the narrative. It doesn't mean that those plans are approved. That's the description that's in there. I don't know enough about AB, whatever that assembly bill is, of how much it allows, but I know they got it passed on different area, different rules, but that assembly bill allowed Rosecrans and Highland. Is it the one by El Porto, right? It was very controversial. It's going to go through. It's going to pass, right? Despite community opposition. That assembly bill allowed that to be, I forget the name of the project, but yeah. Anything else? All right, thank you everyone, meeting adjourned, appreciate you. Uma, yes.
Rosecrans and what?
Rosecrans and Highland, right at the end of the, there's gonna be a super dense,
It's okay.
That's right. But that's what the description says. It doesn't mean that it's approved. It doesn't mean that they're not trying to push it through. I mean, but I don't know how riled up I should get about that just yet. Hopefully Ara can find out some more about that.
You can't move in if you have a car.
Right, exactly. If you have a car. But, the truth is, Los Angeles lives like that, right? I mean, they're going to park on our...
Yeah, right.
We're going to bring, 85 million. Yeah, thank you much.